Good evening. This is the Town of Barnstable Waterways Committee meeting for March the 25th, 2025. And before we get going, I just have to advise that this meeting is being recorded by the Town of Barnstable, Channel 18. I must further inquire as to if anybody present is recording this meeting, and please make their presence known to the chair. This is under Mass General Law 30A, Section 20. In attendance, Waterway Committee members Greg Egan, Gary Schramek, Jacob Angelo, and myself, Paul Everson. For the Town of Barnstable, we have Deputy Harbor Master Jay Horn, Assistant Harbor Master Tyler McKay, and Director, no, we don't have her here. We don't have Alicia. Okay. Let's go to our agenda here. We're going to defer the minutes from February 25th, 2025 as we have them, but they have not been distributed. So we're just going to defer that to the next meeting. The next up, first order business on Section 3, the notices of intent. Bluefield LLC, 571 Old Post Road in Katuitt. Map 54, parcel 18, applicant proposes seasonal ramp and float. Do we have anybody present representing the project?
Yes, John O'Day from Sullivan Engineering Consulting, and also in the meeting is attorney David Lawler.
Good evening to you both.
Good evening.
Go ahead, Mr. O'Day.
So this project is at 571 Old Post Road. I believe the parcel highlighted on the town screen there. We are seeking to install a seasonal ramp and float at the bottom of the stairs that are there. There is an existing outhaul post extending out from the stairs. We are falling well inside of the limits of that. I do have a plan that I could bring up if you wanted to stop sharing and allow me, or if you have your own version of it, whatever works best for you all. Oh,
does that work for you, John?
that does. You should have received a revised plan last week that showed where the outhaul post actually sits on that, but I think it's good enough for you. The existing outhaul extends out about 19 feet past where we are proposing our floats to end. The updated plan also sort of showed the limits of piers that are to the east and west, and that line is out even further than the outhaul. That's about 20, almost 30 feet off of the end of the floats. So we don't believe that this will have any impact. We also located the moorings on the revised plan. The outhaul is about 130 feet to the closest mooring, so this end of this float would be about 150, I guess. I think that we are here to answer any questions or concerns you might have.
Okay, thank you. First off, what I have right off the bat is I believe I saw under either a Google Earth picture, it looked like there was a boat right at the end of the outhaul. Would that be a mooring that is owned by the applicant, or is that somebody else? We know that whose boat that is, or whose mooring would be affected.
I can say that I don't know which one you're referring to, but the owner does have a mooring off his property, but I'm not sure which one you're talking about, Paul. But yes, it's probably the same one, but I can't say with specificity that the one you are referencing is, because there's multiple moorings in the area.
All right. Jay, what do you have?
You can see you can see my screen now. I think you can see the outhaul that's currently there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. That boat it looks like that boat that is out there on the mooring? Do we know who's?
Yeah, that might be his. I know he has a mooring right off his property. I just, with looking at a picture without knowing his exact vessel, but it's certainly, um, he's certainly out in that general area. So it probably is. I just can't say, I don't want to say anything definitively that I don't know definitively.
Right. Jay, are you able to take the, off of what we're looking at there right now? Are you able to come off the shore with the proposed length of this and give us a distance out to that boat? Or distance out of the proposed dock and float?
Yeah, so, John, what's the updated, plan
The
for the length?
updated, that we did not change the length of the structure at all. So that we did not change the proposed structure at all. It extends out 31 feet from the bottom of the stairs.
Okay.
One of the purposes of this is that one of my clients is disabled and the other ones are getting older, is that they can utilize this float for a small boat to row out to their mooring, and they have difficulty traversing the particular areas based on their age, and the other one based on their disability. So this is the purpose of that, is to access the boat, or one of the purposes is to access the boat out there, because right now they're having great difficulty, and they've been so the from purposes of navigation, if you looking at the picture right now, you can see four docks of, I think, that'll all be of greater length than what we're seeking. There is a lot next door that doesn't have one, and if you were to expand that photograph even further, you'd see that well over 50% of the lots have existing docks in place. So with respect to the Waterways Committee and the navigation purposes, I would argue that there are no detriments to navigation created by this addition that's done, especially with the post already there, and the situation in play.
Yeah, one of the reasons for this line of inquiry is anytime somebody is proposing a dock or a structure, and if somebody else has a mooring there and is adversely affected, we like to know about that. So in the past, the people have been held harmless as far as the having the to go to the expense of having their mooring moved, whether it be 10, 20 feet or whatever. We just want to make sure that someone is not being displaced.
Again, my guess is it's his mooring. I just don't know definitively, so I would never represent anything, whether in public or in private, that I'm not 100% certain of. So that's the only hesitation, is I'm not positive.
Okay,
I'm
Jay,
using the same aerials. I got it at 150.
I'm sorry, John, go again.
To get the moorings, and as I was giving you distances, I'm using the same sort of aerials that the town is showing, and bringing that into my system. And I had that mooring, that boat that's really sort of due offshore of where our stairs are, as to the end of the float, 142 feet.
Okay. Jay, are you able to click on that mooring and identify who the owner is? I mean, I think it's going to be fine, but of course, that one doesn't come up with a name on it.
No, it's Christopher Blava seems to own those two moorings there.
That's the applicant.
It is. Okay. All right, that answers that question for me. Questions from other committee members? Greg?
No questions.
Okay, thank you. We don't have Todd. Gary?
No questions. It's pretty straightforward.
Okay, and Jacob?
I just so I missed this part, but was it just for like a dinghy? Or is it like a boat?
Yeah, I believe we're going for a small boat to be put on there to like a small skiff for dinghy.
Mhm. Gotcha. That's all.
And for Mr. O'Day,
And
what is the,
It's
what is the,
seasonal.
yeah, I know it's seasonal. What is the structure made of? Is
It's
it
going to be one
pressure?
of those environmental floats that have the larger holes in them to let sunlight through. I believe it's some composite material that's been approved, that environmentally friendly material. But I think it's some type of composite.
Okay,
It's one of those designs that it has a patchwork that have a lot of holes that allow sunlight to penetrate through the dock for environmental purposes.
What about the floats? Are they gonna be the plastic ones or like the blue ones? I don't know.
I believe they're going to be the same composite material that
All
I'm
right,
talking.
cool.
They're specifically manufactured and designed to be more environmentally friendly.
Yeah, so isn't there a moratorium on docks in this specific area?
We believe that through conservation and zoning, have we have to get approval both through conservation and through zoning. So but I think that respectfully, that's not within the waterways jurisdiction. I'm not lying. I mean, I think that in looking at the bylaw and some of the analysis, I think that we may be permitted to have one, whether it's through a special permit or a variance. So, or quite frankly, as a matter of right, I'm still examining that. But we do have to go through zoning board, and we do have to go through the conservation commission. So there's three goalies. You're the first goalie.
okay. Well, it certainly is in the spirit of what we normally would approve as far as our concerns of navigation, not being out further beyond any existing adjacent pier to that. It's not going on beyond where the existing outhaul is. So we'll entertain a motion to approve this one. If somebody would like to make a motion.
Yeah, this is Garrett. I'll make a motion to approve it.
Okay, thanks, Gary. A second?
Second,
Thank you. All in favor? Gary, yes.
Aye. Yep.
Greg,
yes.
Jacob? Jacob,
He's
Yeah.
muted.
thank you. And myself approve. Okay, that passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have
135 Putnam, sir.
yeah, my thing just froze here. 135 Putnam Ave LLC, project location 135 Putnam Ave in Katuitt, map 36, parcel 040001, Representative John O'Day, Sullivan Engineering.
Yes,
Go ahead,
yes,
John.
sir. I am here again. You're stuck with me for all three. This one should be really straightforward. This is a bulkhead up on the beach above mean high water, getting constructed from the land, not touching the water. No docks, no moorings, but it's a coastal project, so it goes to everyone in town. I'd be happy to answer. I can pull up the plans if you'd like to see them, but I don't know that.
Sure, why don't you? Sure.
Sure. Or can't. Let's see if I can. Hold on. Make sure it allows me.
Unfortunately, John, we're on a breakout room right now. We're having trouble making you the co-host.
That's fine.
If
And
that's,
I didn't receive electronic plans on this. I tried pulling them up before the meeting, but I didn't get any.
Yeah. So I won't share the plans with you.
okay. So it does not involve the water sheet, is just an upland bulkhead and
Correct.
vegetation. Okay, we'll entertain a motion to approve this one.
So
Yes.
moved.
Okay, thanks, Greg. Second,
Second.
thanks, Gary. Jacob?
Aye.
Okay, myself is an aye. And Gary's a yes, and Greg also. That's unanimous. Okay, thank you. Next up, we have Robert G. and Kathleen A. RK Realty Trust. Project location is 97 Willow Run Drive in Centerville. Map 210, parcel 060. Proposed project is to permit and maintain a seasonal pier. Go ahead, Mr. O'Day.
Yes, sir. This is on Lake Waquaket. We are looking to construct in total a 70-foot long seasonal structure. It's great that he's pulling up the aerial there for you all. This is a pretty large parcel as far as the lakes go. The plan shows that the end of that pier is inside the line, again, kind of our neighboring piers. I don't believe there's any moorings in the area. Seems to be similar shape, size, and configuration to all the others in this little corner. Yeah, it's going out just on the kind of off the left-hand corner of that house.
Okay, and what's
And the 70 feet is, includes the kind of ramp coming in off the beach, but you're in the range of seeing what it looks like there. At the end of it, there is an L heading towards the east. That's a 8x10 section. I think it's a pretty similar in designs to the others that we've been bringing before the various boards on the lakes.
okay? So this one has got an okay, I see one with a larger L, but that's the yacht club one. That's to the north.
So conservation puts on their freshwater guidelines, our regulations guidelines, I think they put a limitation on your T's, L's, etc. of like 92 or 96 square feet. We're basically always using 2 4x10 sections. They come in 4x10 sections, and we're plopping 2 of them at the ends.
Okay, so how far is it coming out, and then you're having the 2 4x10s on
It's
there?
a total of 70 feet, and that includes the L, which goes an additional, which just goes 10 feet to the east. Yeah,
Okay.
you don't have that plan available to bring up.
Yeah, once again, I didn't receive an electronic copy of this. I did look at the physical plans. It looks to be in line with the neighboring docks. This property is in a designated mooring field. However, we generally don't permit moorings this far over. They're primarily located in front of the yacht club. So the harbor master department doesn't have any issues with navigation here.
Okay, and again, this is a seasonal one, Mr. O'Day?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and what is the type of construction on this one?
These are seasonal aluminum structures. So it is fixed, kind of sitting on the posts that fold up and come out with it every winter.
Okay. Questions from other committee members? Greg?
No questions. Thank you.
Okay. Gary?
No question.
All right. Jacob?
No questions.
All right. I'll entertain a motion to approve this one.
So moved.
Thanks,
I
Greg.
have a question, if you don't mind.
And who?
Connor Rogan.
Okay, go ahead,
I'm a-
sir.
Yeah, I'm just curious what the posts sit on the bottom.
I think that these are set up on like 2.5 inch probably diameter aluminum posts that end up with a little foot plate that's probably 4x4, 5x5 inches, and the whole post and column come out with it at the end of the season. Nothing doesn't go into the ground. It just sits on the ground. We kind of describe them to property owners who haven't had them before. It's like setting up a card table heading out into the lake.
I got you. I was just curious. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. So Greg, in favor?
Yes.
Okay,
Well,
Okay.
I'm not sure. Do we have a second?
yeah, we did.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. And Gary?
Yes.
Okay, Jacob?
Yes.
Okay, and myself is a yes on that one. Okay,
Thank you very much, everybody.
thank you, sir. We do not have any mooring appeals. So now we'll take up the fishware renewal. So Jacob, you'll have to leave the meeting.
Yep. How does this go? I just leave and then, or do I go into like the
Yeah,
breakout
Jake,
room?
you have to physically leave this meeting. Whether you go into a breakout room or just get offline, I can always text you when I'm off,
All
and
right.
then you can get back on.
Yeah,
All right.
Derek Lawson is
Yeah,
moderating. So
Jacob, I can ask you to move over into the other room. So just bear with me 1 second, okay?
Yeah. Okay. I'll just leave and then join the meeting and go in. Oh, okay. Here you go.
Yeah, once you guys are done, Jay Horn, Deputy Horn, could you just let me know and I can move Jake back into the to the meeting?
Sure.
okay. So Jay, would you do you have the renewal application?
I do not. I have not received it yet at this time, Mr. Everson. I believe we granted him a 1 year license, and he's looking to extend that. I believe he's trying to start in September again, so he just wanted to get it on the agenda, so we could have an initial discussion about it. If anyone had concerns, if any of the committee members had concerns about the weir itself, we just wanted to open a dialogue about it. When Harbor Master Taylor gets back next month, he has some comments that he'd like to make to the Waterways Committee. But as of tonight, the Harbor Master Department doesn't have any comments.
Okay, and
You want me
we
to
don't
jump?
have, hang on 1 second. But we don't have an application yet, is what you're telling me.
Not that I'm aware of, sir.
Okay, I
Okay.
apologize. I thought
Mr.
Jake had
Mr.
filed one, and then I was to jump in and there
Oh.
was, but with respect to that though, there was in my memory, I think it's pretty accurate, but actually before that, so I don't forget, just as a point of order, on the last hearing, after listening to John O'Day, I represented that the dock is composite, and that's true. All the decking is composite, but it does have an aluminum frame. I just don't want to misspeak. Back to Jake's issue. Last year at the meeting, it was granted for 1 year with the understanding that he would come back this year to renew the weir permits for potentially up to 1 to 5 years. After the waterway meeting that took place last year, we went before the town council, and the town council, I believe, unanimously approved it. And they actually bumped the time that was allowable by the Waterways Committee by a few days, allowing him to start the day after Labor Day. What he's seeking here today is a renewal. He had last year, the poles were up, the lights were up for the requisite period of time. He did have some issues with his netting and stuff like that. That's just from a fishing standpoint, doing on a rookie year but he has the opportunity now to purchase the weir fishing components from another fisherman. But the weir itself was up for the entire fall season last year with zero complaints from anybody in Hyannis Point, no incidents reported of any issues of boats having any problems with the weir fishing. And for him to make a significant purchase of this weir fishing equipment, we all know return on investment. He's really needs the comfort factor of a 5 year permit to allow him to recoup his investment in this. And it's an important fishery dating back hundreds, if not thousands of years to the Native Americans who fished in this area. And, sadly, it's kind of a dying art and it's an important historic fishing component. And we hope that you can review. If you need officially to get an application and we go before you the next meeting, that's fine. But that's the situation in the nutshell. That's the history of it.
Oh, okay, thank you. Yeah, my thoughts would be to let's get it down on paper as a formal application number one. The amendment that the town council in their approval as far as dates, I'd like to see that incorporated in it as well. And uh, and the third point, are we talking about the Hyannisport one or the Wiano one, or is it both?
Right now, we're talking about the Hyannisport one.
Okay.
The Wiano one has been up and running now since I was a boy. I'm 60 years old, and probably before I was born, as long as I can remember. And I think at some point in time he may be coming before you. But this is the fall one. The Hyannis one also has been up in existence in the springtime for as long as I can remember as well. But this is the fall. This is the day after Labor Day up and through November 30th, and that's when it
So,
was taken down.
okay, so this is the fall weir,
Yeah,
Hyannisport only,
Hyannisport fall wear. Yeah.
day after
Mr.
Labor
Lawler,
Day.
excuse me. Jacob was running two weirs last year, correct? Wasn't there one off Waiana and one off Hyannisport?
Um, you know what? You may be correct, Mr. Horn. So I guess it would be both, but it's the fall. I thought it was just Hyannisport he was running, but I don't. If you're the harbor master, you're out there every day. You know better than I do.
Yeah, so to my knowledge, there was two last fall that Jacob applied for. We marked the one off of Wiano on our chart plotter because we use that line to navigate over to Katuitt during the day and at night. So I know that one was in for sure 100%. I went by it a couple times at night. Again, we can discuss this next meeting,
Well,
but
it'll be clarified on the application, but this was more of an informative meeting to get things
yeah,
moving. And
Okay,
then
yeah,
we'll hammer it down, and then I'll appear for Jacob again because obviously he has a conflict with respect to sitting on the Waterways Committee.
right.
yeah.
Okay, so let's do that. Let's, formalize it as far as an application and
When
spell
it,
out
when is
the,
it, when is the next meeting?
it would be, hold on, April I have it as the 22nd, but let me just double check. No, that's. Jay, do you have the schedule in front of you? Like I say, I don't have my laptop and I'm just operating off of a cell phone and an iPad here.
Is it the last Tuesday or the fourth Tuesday?
Yeah, it shows us the 22nd, Paul.
The 22nd,
Yeah,
okay,
because
Yeah, okay.
I'm gonna be away on the 29th. Oh, perfect. Then I'll be available.
okay. We'll continue that one till April the 22nd. All right,
Thank you.
thank you,
Thanks, guys. I know you're all volunteers. Thank you very much.
thank you. Derek, if you let Jacob back in,
Will do. One moment, please.
thank you.
Yeah, so Derek has to leave the meeting in order to let him back in. I don't see him yet.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for him to pop back up. There he is. Oh,
All right, thank you guys.
all right, great. Thanks, Jacob. Okay, next up, we have new business public comment on mooring workshop March 18th, which was held at 6 p.m. Okay, anybody would like to speak to that? You can unmute one at a time here and just state your name, please, and give us a comment.
I guess I'm up. Can you hear me okay?
You're coming in a little broken up there, Mr. White.
How about now? Is that better?
Not
Still a little
really.
broken up, your microphone.
Great. Well, I don't know what I can do about that. Can you guys hear me any better?
I mean, we can hear you if you want to try to continue. We can see how it goes.
Well, I'd like to propose an idea for the moorings, for the Harbor Masters Department and the Waterways Committee. Can you still hear me okay? Is it working okay?
Mr. White, you are really kind of broken up there, so I'm going to pause you and let's go to Ashley White. Ashley, can you unmute and make comments, and then we'll come back to Michael.
I'm all set on my end. I was just gonna say, Dad, why don't you try to move further in? It might be the Wi-Fi at the house.
Or maybe you could log in from your phone, Mr. White.
All right, I'll give that a shot. Sorry about that, guys.
Ashley, was there some comments you wanted to make in regards to the workshop?
No, I was just here to observe and hear what was going on about all of this. So no, I'm just listening.
Okay, thank you. Mike, try it one more time. Okay, waiting for him. Is there anybody else that would like to speak regards to the mooring workshop that was held on March 18th?
Mr. Chairman, Derek Lawson. I believe Mike is online with his phone now too. So Mike, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me now?
Okay, much better.
All right, sorry, guys.
Okay, the floor is yours. Go ahead.
All right, what I'd like to do is propose an idea. First, let me say, I think a very big thank you should be going to the Harbor Masters Department and the Waterways Committee for extending moorings and more moorings in Katuitt area and Ropes Beach and all that over the years. I've owned the launch now for, I don't know, 22 years, I think it is. And it's definitely been a huge improvement, mostly from the Harbor Masters Department. So there's a big thank you there for that from a lot of people, not only me. But the idea what I wanted to propose was in between Katuitt and Katuitt Bay Shores, there is roughly around 200 people on a list for moorings. And in the course of a season, every year there's at least 20 or 30 moorings that are empty. Now, I don't think any of these people should lose their moorings. I think it's a piece of gold to the town of Barnstable. But what I'd like to propose as an idea is maybe rent these moorings out. And if we could rent these moorings out and expose it to the waiting list first, and not in a chronological order, not for the person that's sitting there at number 1 or number 2. I think anybody that's on the list should be able to apply to a rental mooring. Now, the money from the moorings that would be acquired would go to the town of Barnstable. And with a stipend going back to the owner of the mooring for maintenance and everything else that's involved with the mooring, their permits and all that. Now, as far as renewals, the renewal contract for a mooring, there'll just be another square on those mooring applications. Are you going to use your mooring? Yes or no? If it's no, then there'll be another box there if they feel all right with it going into the rental pool. The person that rents that mooring for the season does not get it the following year. They're back into the rental pool until their number comes up on the list. And they do not leave the list because they rented a mooring. But I think what it will do is it will get a lot more people on the water. It will start getting some people maybe off the list, but at the very least, it will get them on the water. I think everybody would win. The marine industry would win. The people would be on the water. The town would win, with the rental moorings. A couple stipulations with those would be they were obligated to, 1, meet the criteria of the moorings gear. And 2, they have to have proof of insurance, which I think maybe might want to do that on the mooring permits in general, because there are some people down there that don't tie up their boats right occasionally in storms and they drift through the mooring field and they don't have any insurance and people are chasing them all season long. But I think this is an idea that possibly could help with everybody. I don't see a downfall to it at all. Now, and I'm sure the town's legal department can come up with a document for liability purposes that would exempt the town from that area. Like I'm sure they probably do on the town mooring rentals anyways. So I'm sure there's probably an adaptation to that we could get around that. But I'm just thinking it's something that, because the list just doesn't seem to dwindle down too fast. I'm just thinking it's something that could get people on the water, and I just don't see the downfall to the whole thing. Maybe you guys could shed some light on that. But I just wanted to pass it on as an idea to, 1, the Harbor Masters Department and the Waterways Committee. And I appreciate your time listening to this.
Mr. White, if we could just go back to the beginning. I'm confused about the area specifically you were talking about.
Well, basically the whole town of Barnstable. Basically the whole town of Barnstable.
Katuitt Bay Shores.
Well, I just use that as an example. From Katuitt Harbor to Katuitt Bay Shores is roughly 200 people on a waiting list. It is the hot spot for people that want to go, on a mooring. But I mean, but just where I am is a minimum of 20 to 30 moorings empty every year, just not being used. People pay for the permits and they don't use them. So between Katuitt Harbor, Katuitt Bay, and Katuitt Bay Shores, I guarantee there's at least 60 or 70 moorings that are not being used. So if we could put those in some sort of a rental pool and expose it to the waiting list first, if they're not gone then we can expose them to public. I'm just saying that, and don't get me wrong, I don't think these people should lose their moorings because they're not using them. I'm thinking that they should be used. There's so many people waiting to get on the water. And I just don't see a downfall to it to be able to do that. Even the lists that are on the north side or over in Lewis Bay, if you expose everybody to the rental pool, I'm sure a good percentage of these will be used and the town will get income from it. And the mooring will get used and everybody wins. I don't see a downfall to it.
Okay, well, we appreciate your comments. You know, if you've been listening to the Waterways Committee, you know, we have been talking about the possibilities. There's a limited rental program right now that was implemented last year, and there's been discussion about possibility of extending it further to private rentals, private moorings, possibly getting rented out. And Deputy Harbor Master Horn has been exploring all of that. Okay, thank you
Well,
very much for your
if you-
comment.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Do we have anybody else who'd like to speak on the public comment on the mooring workshop of March 18th? All right, hearing none. Next up, we have Barnstable Marine applying to transfer from an individual mooring to Barnstable Marine Service or apply for a new commercial permit.
I'm sorry, Mr. Evan. I believe Mr. Angelo wanted to say something.
Yeah, if you don't mind, I didn't want to interrupt you, but I think that I like a lot of that, and I think a lot of what Mr. White was saying. I don't know. I heard it from other people at that workshop, and I think people don't want to get rid of the mooring, but I do think they should be able to be used. One suggestion I would say is that, like, I know that you said that it could go to anybody at any time, or it wouldn't go to the same person every year, but I think it should maybe ease the pressure of the list by doing that, giving it to the person that wants the mooring and then and then they can rent a mooring every year, because then when they actually come up on the list for a spot, they already have a boat and they're already renting, and they're already all set up to just transfer, and it's not, oh, leave me on the top of the list. And is one of my suggestions. And then another suggestion was that I remember Jay had an idea at the meeting about something. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I remember having the same thought about it this as I did that, which was, when if everybody starts to decide to use their moorings and they don't want to rent them anymore, like, just there has to be some sort of process on to think about on that end for how does that get solved when you do sign your mooring over to be rented and then you want it back, and there's a lot of people renting, and all of a sudden COVID happens and everybody wants to go boating again. I want my mooring back. That's all.
Okay, thank you. So Barnstable Marine, Jay, would you take that one? Introduce it.
Yeah, I don't know if Nate is with us tonight. I can just give the committee, some of the information that I researched in terms of commercial mooring permits. There is an individual mooring permit currently in the Van Duzer family. I believe it's his father who is one of the owners of Barnstable Marine. You do not have to have an individual mooring permit to apply for a commercial mooring permit. You can come in front of the Waterways, you can request it at the harbor master's discretion, and we can talk about that. My personal opinion is if you already have an individual mooring permit and you want to make that a commercial, I think it's an easier sell, because we're not cutting in front of anyone on the wait list at that point. But I did research this with Eric Schufelt and Dan Horn, and it can be done either way, gentlemen. So you can have an individual, you can make it a commercial, or you can just apply for a commercial permit yourself without having an individual. I think in Nate's case, he wants to take his individual mooring in his father's name and turn that into a commercial mooring for Barnstable Marine.
Right, which would be a cleaner thing, because then you're not trying to put a new permit into either a closed area or a designated area. like you say, jump on the gun.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, if you want to notify them, they can come back on the 22nd of April and attend that meeting.
All right, thank you, Mr. Harrison.
Thank you. And we have correspondence. Hearing for the transfer of aquaculture license site number NG029 from Mark Begley, 20 High Street, West Barnstable, Mass. to Tyler Hagenstein, 28 Derby Drive, West Barnstable, and issuance of a new license to Tyler Hagenstein for a period of 5 years. Public hearing 4/10 of 2025, 10 o'clock, Selectmen's Conference Room, second floor, Town Hall, 367 Main Street. Oops, losing that. Next one, we have a Chapter 91 application, Portledge by the Sea Condominium, Centerville River, 306 Long Beach Road, Barnstable. Another Chapter 91 application, David W. Rowe and Margaret M. Rowe, 174 Starboard Lane in Barnstable. I think that would be Osterville. And we have a Chapter 91 application, Donald Gans and Janice Gans trustees, Waquacket Lake, 279 Nice Neck Road in Barnstable. Jay, I know on the hearing on the aquaculture, that's just basically the notice that is given to us. But is there any other correspondence in particular to any of these that I just read?
I haven't received any, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. All righty. And I am looking for the Harbor Master's report, and I don't see it listed here. We'll take that under the reasonably anticipated by the chair before adjournment. Jay, do you have anything you'd like to add from the Harbor Master's Department?
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Chairman. Jay Horn, Deputy Harbor Master. The big news right now is we're hitting another deadline for our mooring permit renewals. That is March 31st, 4:15 p.m. So anyone who hasn't renewed their mooring yet, you've got a couple days left. So get your information to me, get your new registration, your excise tax, whatever it is that's holding you up right now. Just reach out to the department. We'll work with you. We'll get you renewed any way we can and get you in good standing for the year. We are just getting ready for the season. Dock Day down at Barnstable Harbor is April 7th. We'll be putting all the docks in April 7th. That's a big day for us. It's all hands on deck for the department. We are also getting ready to put the ATONs back in the water. We're going to start going through all the chain, replacing everything that we need. Start deploying those sometime around mid-April. Plan is to have them all in the water by May 1st. That's the goal for that. And just getting the boats in the water. We're just getting ready for another season.
Great, thank you. Just one thing about our next meeting on the 22nd. Do we have that one at 6 o'clock as well? And that's the final one at 6? Do I have that right?
If it's okay with the committee, yeah, I'd like to do the April meeting at 6 o'clock as well.
Okay. Yeah, I thought that when we had done February, March, and April as this. Oh, yeah, we had the workshop there as the 6 o'clock as well. So maybe that's what I was thinking of. Committee members, does 6 o'clock work for everybody if it gets posted for 6?
And
Yes.
then after that, it would go to 7.
Yeah, then we would go back to our normal 7 p.m.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you all. Entertain a motion to adjourn then if there's no other business for the Waterways Committee.
So moved.
Thanks, Craig. Second.
I'll second that.
Thanks, Jacob. Okay, see everybody on April the 22nd at 6 p.m.